Good morning, and it's great to be with you today, albeit virtually. Unfortunately, my attendance is required this morning to be at the Central Virginia Transportation Authority, where I chair the Finance Committee. But I'm still grateful for the opportunity to share with you some of the exciting progress we are making to continue the upward trajectory of our city to not merely survive this pandemic era, but to thrive in the months and years ahead. That success starts with our downtown. The city of Richmond is the hub of the regional will in Central Virginia. Our downtown is the linchpin that keeps it rolling. I don't need to preach to the choir. You've all seen the studies and the surveys to back this up. Downtown has received more than $3.6 billion in investment since 2019. Covering just 5% of the city land, it is home to more than half the jobs in the entire city. We want and we need businesses to be open and welcoming back employees and customers alike in our downtown. These businesses not only drive revenue critical to city operations, but also concentrate the creative energy and talent from which new ideas, opportunities, and civic progress flow. We are already seeing signs of recovery. The proposed budget I've recently announced reflects rebounding revenues in sales and meals taxes. So restaurants are open, and revenues like the Altria Theater, the Dominion Energy Center, and the National are welcoming performers back. Core corporate tenants are bringing employees back to the office as well. And for the first time in several years, we will have a Monument Avenue 10K in person on Monument Avenue, albeit without the monuments. Of course, if we've learned one thing from this pandemic, it's that we are still living with it, and we're going to have to live with it, perhaps for some time longer. It will continue to have an impact on our labor markets and wages, and it will continue to present challenges in housing, public education, public health, and public safety. But this challenging time has also taught us how resilient we are, and I'm very proud of the fact that we have not shied away from meeting our challenges and moving forward to advance the quality of life for all Richmonders. And that is why I remain hopeful and optimistic that the investments we've made and the investments being made in our city will keep us moving forward. I'd like to cover just a few of those and also provide some updates on our progress, in particular as it relates to our downtown. So first, as I briefly mentioned earlier, in spite of the pandemic, our city, and especially our downtown, is seeing substantial amount of investment in business development growth. We announced nearly 2,200 new jobs in the first 3 quarters of the current fiscal year and have tallied $526 million in capital investment. This includes projects such as CoStar Group's corporate campus expansion along the riverfront, Intact Technology investing $1.5 million to open the company's second Virginia location that will create 125 new jobs in downtown, and Thermo Fisher Scientific opening a new lab in the biotech park, making a $4.7 million investment and creating 48 new jobs. These results build on our fiscal year 21 successful results in the downtown area that include the announced redevelopment of the public safety building site and new companies such as Additix Therapeutics, Sonare, Bioscience, and USP establishing new operations in the biotech park. As you know, we have also adopted a City Center small area plan. Richmond City Center is home to the 3 life science focused anchor institutions. You have Virginia Commonwealth University, the Virginia Biotech Park, and Reynolds Community College. The vision for the City Center is to become the engine for expanding Greater Richmond's life sciences industries. City Center will be the place to live, learn, collaborate, create, and develop new life science businesses in a high-density, walkable, urban full-service environment that includes multimodal transportation options to city and regional neighborhoods and job centers. Our goal is to create an innovation zoning district by the end of July and to have a development team in place to redevelop the Coliseum area by the end of 2022. It is our intention for the demolition of the Coliseum to be undertaken by this development team. We will redevelop city-owned properties that are vacant and explore options for renovating, replacing, or relocating city functions. The goal is to reduce the municipal footprint in city centers so that the innovation district may grow and city functions can operate more effectively in an improved space. We are also actively seeking to reconnect Jackson Ward, an historic African-American neighborhood that has been physically and economically separated by Interstates 95 and 64 since the 1950s. The Virginia Office of Intermodal Planning and Investment, in coordination with the Virginia Department of Transportation and the City of Richmond, is undertaking a feasibility study to develop options to reconnect Jackson Ward. Born out of the Richmond 300 Master Plan, the feasibility study seeks to engage the community to evaluate and develop viable options for new transportation connections and public spaces in this area. Now, a few months back, we had the chance to tour Jackson Ward with Transportation Secretary Buttigieg, and I'm optimistic that our plan could win support from the Biden administration. Now, none of this progress is to suggest that we do not still have a lot of work to do. I'm well aware of the challenges that remain in downtown and throughout our city. Some of them either come from or were made worse by the pandemic. Issues from homelessness to childcare challenges for working parents to the sheer competition to recruit and retain a city workforce that can fill critical public sector jobs like police officers or permit inspectors are more difficult now than ever. Others are, at least in part, the result of the success of our city as a desirable place to live, work, and play. Our population has increased, placing greater pressure on the already great need for affordable housing. The surge in development interest has overloaded our permits office, and the increased value of our property has fueled real estate speculation along key arteries in our city, in some cases leaving what should be productive commercial corridors unoccupied and neglected. I want to assure you that we are aware of all these issues and are taking steps to address them. My proposed budget increases our eviction diversion program funding by 50%. We have set aside $10 million alone this year to address affordable housing, and we will be announcing those grants by the end of the month. We now have a new director of planning, development, and review and a new building commissioner, and they are hard at work addressing some of the systemic, procedural, technological, and staffing issues that have created challenges in dealing with this critical function of city government. We've increased funding to support and expand childcare and after-school programming. And our Department of Public Works has had 2 full-time graffiti crews in operation for the past 18 months, and they completed nearly 1,000 removal jobs in 2021, including a Broad Street blitz in December. And as you may have seen, we recently proposed substantial wage increases for our first responders and across-the-board 5% hike for all city employees. Now, these are important steps that I believe will have a direct impact on our ability to recruit and retain quality workers who provide the city services upon which our residents and businesses depend and deserve. These moves will make a difference, but as you know, they will not change things overnight. So, I ask for both your patience and, yes, your support in working together to make a difference. You all have been a big part of our success, and I'm grateful to Venture Richmond for its partnership in making our city a great place to live, work, and play. Ladies and gentlemen, we've come a long, long way. Richmond is on the map of great cities, not just in the South, but in the entire country. And working together, we will continue to rise as a city. Thank you, and God bless the great city of Richmond.